Hey, how you guys doing? Whew, it's been a long time. Let me know if you can hear me. In the comments, please say, I can hear you, and give me a thumbs up. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. I decided to come on because I've been putting out a lot of videos, and people I think might be misinterpreting, or maybe I'm not clearly stating my intentions in those videos with regards to software development, AI, coding, should you learn to code, and so on. So I thought I'd just pop on, address that, answer a few questions, see how many people come on. This is a unexpected live stream. So we'll see. I'm not going to make any promises about any other streams until I decide what I'm going to do. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me so I can move ahead with confidence that it's clear. Can you hear me clearly? Let me know. Also, let me know where you're watching from. Say, I don't know, Stef from Montreal, Nancy from, I don't know, Miami, wherever you happen to be. So let me know in the comments, and then we will go on, and I'll answer some questions as well. Hey, how are you? How are you? Can you hear me clearly? Let me know if you can hear me. Ruby, 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 Ruby. Can you hear me clearly? From the UK, very good. Okay, I suppose you can hear me. All right, so I assume, somebody give me a thumbs or let me know if you can hear me. I don't want to start getting into it until I get some confirmation about that. All right, I'll go Stef, loud and clear. Cool, cool. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for popping on the stream. Yeah, just when you pop on, let me know where you're from. So we got somebody from UK, from somebody from New York City, from somebody from Zambia. Very cool. Maybe because I'm old, but I find it very entertaining that we got people from Turkey, Los Angeles, Zambia, New York City, the UK. Fantastic. Very cool. So, hope everything is well. I want to address a small group. So I want to address something that I've been talking about more and more in my videos to help people understand what I'm getting at here. So when I've been putting out a bunch of videos recently saying, concentrate on AI, don't be so heavily weighted on coding. So when I say you shouldn't learn C++, what I'm trying to say is that the market is changing. I still think you should learn the fundamentals of code because it teaches you system design. It will help you with that with proper training. But you have to understand, every now and then in software development, things change. The level of abstraction changes. So for example, the amount of code I used to have to write back in the 90s, very different from today. Much less code versus the amount of app, and it's just changing again. So when we're looking at jobs, I think most people here are interested in jobs and job opportunities. You always want to go wherever market is growing big time. So if you're an experienced dev, intermediate level dev, you're going to find lots of jobs as a software developer. But if you're experienced intermediate level dev and you learn about the AI tool sets, then your value is just going to increase incredibly. It's just like, it's monstrous. I'm seeing it out there. If you're a junior and you want to get into the game, you learn your fundamentals, then you should learn the AI stacks. AI is it's evolving very quickly. There's a massive demand. There's a massive amount of work that you can do with AI that you could not do prior. And there's a huge demand for it, as I said, from people, whether you want to freelance, get a job. Developers who know AI are going to get the jobs over people who don't know AI. And it's evolving. So there's AI first, and then AI augmented traditional development. Then there's prompt engineering. That is going away now. It's still there, but there's more advanced ways of interacting with the AIs. It's not trivial, dudes. So what does that mean? That means they're going to need AI experts, developers who are AI experts. It's kind of, you got to think of AI developers or developers who are AI experts, much in the same way as web devs who are experts at React, right? It's the next level. So there are React jobs, there are C++ jobs, there are Java jobs. But if you know AI, then your value just increases exponentially. So that is the first thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Okay. So if you're learning how to code now, yeah, learn the basics. Like in my own mentoring program, I kept my coding courses there. I'm removing all the project courses because those are now out of date. But I kept the foundational coding. It's still important. I don't know how long it's going to be important in terms of actual how much code you can write, but every year the amount of code you need to write has continued to diminish, even from the 90s, and it's just accelerating now. So at some point, you're going to need to know what you're doing. You're going to need to understand the concepts and the abstractions and the systems and how the systems work together. But the amount of code you're going to actually write daily is going to be less. You're going to be more like an overseer, like a manager. So, yeah, I was just talking to somebody today who's got a travel tourism company. He's a friend of mine, and he's using AI now to augment and automate processes. He's been telling me that he is now able to do things that with traditional development they just couldn't do. And he would hire a person right now that could help him implement, put into place all his AI-based systems. Like he would pay them big money to do that. So, for example, let's say you wanted to go out there as a freelance developer, but you're a freelance developer who's a master of implementing marketing systems for companies. That's going to be a huge niche, right? So you can't just come with your knowledge. You come with you and your trained AI agents. That will make you super valuable. That's not just my opinion. The Microsoft CEO was talking about that last year. And so I have to give him credit. He clued me into that one. And he said, so people are going to be hired not just for their own skill sets, but the agents that they have trained based on whatever specialization. So you may be a developer who specialized in building systems for accounting, bookkeeping and accounting. And what you'll have is maybe a few agents that you trained to facilitate that. So you'd go into an accounting firm and start automating all their processes using AI tool sets. So you know the AI landscape. You also know a little bit about codes because you have to go in there and look at their older stuff and the current stuff that they have. But you also have your agents who are trained in that. So I do a lot of marketing work for brands, and I have a couple of agents. They're not agents, they're custom GPTs. So they really make my life easy. And I've trained them in what I do and my protocols. And so they take, so I have one agent. I get so many requests in a daily basis. So I have one custom AI. I just send them an email of the request for sponsorship, and it goes through all this criteria of things I used to have to do manually. It would take me 25 minutes for each sponsorship request. Now the AI does it for me in like a second. Boom, saves me a lot of time. So I hope you're getting an idea of what modern development is going to be about. Modern development is going to be about people who know systems and coding and development. So you should know the foundational languages for now anyway. But more importantly, they understand the AI tool set and landscape. You got to look at AI as like the new JavaScript libraries, front end, back end, or the new framework, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go through some comments and I'll continue. And if you have any questions, ask them. So what do we got here? So what's up? What's up, Mohammed? All right, cool. Ferds. Very clear. Good. Hearing you loud and clear from New York City. Very cool. From Zambia. Thank you. All right. All right, cool. Hello from Turkey, Los Angeles, Slovakia, Romania. Should I learn Flutter nowadays? Flutter is, I would learn it if you have a project that is required. See, the days of you learn your foundations, then you learn Flutter, or then you learn React, those days are, I think, gone. I think what you do is you learn your foundations, then you learn AI, and then if a project comes up where Flutter makes sense, then you get the basics of Flutter under your belt. You see, one thing you have to understand, why do I emphasize the foundations? Because once you understand the foundations well, learning a Flutter or React or Vue or any other library will become very trivial, pretty trivial, you know? Especially when you have AI now. My strings are out of whack here. There we go. It bothers me. I like balance. It's from my martial arts. Anyway, when you have a good understanding of the foundations, then to learn these new things like a Flutter or so on, it's not hard. So I would not learn Flutter unless there is a Flutter project. Understand what Flutter can do for you. Maybe, watch a 10-minute video on it or a 5-minute video, or ask AI, say, give me the advantages of using Flutter and what are the competitors. So you understand it, so you can make the choices. So when you go in for a job as a freelancer, or maybe you're at a company and you're working, at least you'll know when it makes sense to consider Flutter. You see, because of AI, the need to know the mechanics of all these things are becoming less important, where your judgment and your overall knowledge of systems and the choices in the ecosystem, the software development ecosystem, become far more important. So like in my mentoring program, that's what I'm doing. I'm creating new modules. Now I put modules on introduction to AI and software development, so you understand AI first, and AI augmented development, et cetera, and so forth. And I'm getting more deeper into that. Keeping my foundations, because it's very important, but to pre-learn a Flutter, to pre-learn a React, I would not do it. I put those technologies into my category I've had for many years called the need to nerd category. It's something that you learn if it comes up. You don't pre-learn it, because I made that mistake, by the way. Back in the day, I learned a bunch of stuff that I never used in commercial projects. I just never used it. So for example, when I was doing a lot of Java, for some reason I decided to learn Java Swing, which is their GUI framework for thick client development. Never used it. I spent a few weeks learning it, and it just never came up in my entire career. What a waste of time. I wasted a lot of time on other technologies as well. So I'm just trying to save you that pain. Learn what's key, what's fundamental, and develop a good understanding of the principles and the architectures, and then you'll be good. Okay, where are we going? Flutter. That was the Flutter. Libya, wow, very cool. From Canada too. What part of Canada, man? Hey, you're famous. Wow. Only with my family. South Shore, Montreal, very cool. Kenya, Egypt. AI hybrid developers, 100%. Soon, now they're called AI hybrid developers. They use AI and they use code and do both. Soon it's just going to be developers, and AI is just going to be the trend. What should I do as a junior? Learn your foundations and then jump into the AI stack. Matthew is always positive, always a positive guy. The end is nigh. Hello from Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach, could you? So Matthew, one of my mentees, he's now, I think you're a senior dev now, right? A multinational. A major opportunity in SEO, AEO, GEO, devs data has to be structured. All new ways now. Yep. You need to know how to code so you can check the AI work 100%, 100%. That's why you got to know your foundations. Let's see, problems finding legit jobs for us Africans. We can mostly just be remote, but the internet now is so filled with ghosts and fake jobs. Well, what you got to do is you got to keep building your reputation, maybe work for some nonprofits. And again, the key to getting ahead in any market is to go where the demand is. The demand today is in the AI augmented development, AI hybrid development. I like that. I'll use that term. It's understandable. Trust me, guys, I've been approached multiple times by people say, Stef, will you help me develop something with this AI tool? Please, Stef, please. And I'm like, too busy. So there's a lot of opportunity, but nobody's coming to me say, Stef, can you do React? No. You also, here's a trick. You got to think about any project you're working on, whether for employer or you're going to be a contractor, or maybe you're going to develop a product. You got to think of it in terms of what is their perspective, right? What are they looking for, right? there's no clients are not going to say we want React, unless there's some large organization where they have a React infrastructure. But that's going away. That is becoming less and less important. You got to think about what they're looking for. So, for example, I'll use this example. It was recent. I've been using it recently. A restaurant owner I know, he owns 3 big restaurants. He wants an AI phone system that will take orders, route orders to the kitchen, yada, 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 yada. That's an end user thinking, right? That's what they're looking for. He's not saying, I need React. He's not saying, I need ChatGPT. He's not saying, I need Grok. He's saying, I need this implementation here. So you got to start thinking in terms of that. And then you look at the technology choices you have out there, like tools that can be used to implement these things. That's all. Yeah, so what are we at? 69, 70 people? If you give me some thumbs, I would appreciate it, guys. What about Fortran? COBOL and other legacy. There's probably work there. Again, there's probably a lot of work there because nobody cares about these tools, but there's a lot of infrastructure. But I would learn how AI and Fortran and COBOL go together. That will make you super powerful because a lot of companies are now, like there's a recent news where Anthropic said that their AI can now rewrite and fix COBOL code, and IBM stock dropped like 13% because that's a big part of their business is just maintaining old systems. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. So again, I'm not saying no code. I'm saying less code, more AI, more low code systems. Low code, WordPress would be an example of that. So, or Wix. Again, so if I was looking at Fortran and COBOL, I would be, in other legacy language, I would looking at how you can write those legacy languages, update systems based on these legacy systems using AI. That's how you're going to get your foot in the door. That's actually a good hack because not a lot of developers are looking at Fortran or COBOL. So right there, it's great competition-wise, right? Because you're always looking at how many jobs versus how many developers. There may be 10 million jobs in, I don't know, React, but if there's 10 million developers, it's going to be hard to get in. But if there's only 500 jobs in Fortran, but only 200 Fortran developers, then you're going to get a job for sure. So you always got to look at relative demand to supply with everything. So that would be my suggestion. If you're interested in Fortran and COBOL, look at and legacy languages and updating those old systems. Look at it in terms of how you can combine that with AI. Hello from Pakistan. Pakistan, how are you? How are you guys? Hello, Uncle Stef. I'm a CS computer science third year student, regular watching your videos. Should I still focus on? Yeah, I would focus on building things now. As I just said, if you got your coding, you're doing it, start going hard into the AI stuff. It's complex, dude. It's not like you can sit there and drink your coffee and AI will do it all. It's super productive, but you got to know what you're doing. Matthew, this guy here, he can speak to that. He was telling me about how he had some lingering tickets in his company, and he was able, I think something would have taken you a couple of weeks to do or 6 weeks to do, I think he told me, and you got it done in 2 hours because of AI. But he still needed to know what he was doing. So just because AI speeds up the process, it doesn't mean that there's going to be less need for developers. There's going to be a huge need for developers. In fact, I know this is going to be controversial for some of you. Because of AI, there's all these different things that companies are going to do now that they couldn't do prior. It's going to create a huge amount of jobs, a huge amount. I think we're in a transitional period now. We're dealing with the post-COVID over hiring and reducing. Some CEOs have admitted that. We're saying it's AI because we're laying off people, but actually the reality is that they just overhired because of COVID. So they're kind of correcting that. But now I saw a report, they're seeing job postings starting to spike again. So again, it's all about that. It's all about going into the new stuff. So what's going to happen, instead of you working on a project for 2 years on the same system, the project time cycles will be reduced. That's my guess. I'm thinking that instead of you working 1 year on something, you work on it for 2 months, and then you work on it next week, and the next week, and the next week. There's unlimited software to be written. There's unlimited processes to be resolved now. So in the end, I think there's going to be a lot more jobs. I think the skill set's shifting. So if you're like DSA guy, data structures and algorithms guy, you're out of luck a little bit. But you go into understanding architectures, understanding AI systems, how data flows, security, all this kind of stuff. That's where you're going to see a huge opportunity. So yeah, so keep learning the code, but I would jump into the AI stuff and start learning to build things. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just don't think we're in 2025. If you were a typewriter manufacturer and the typewriter jobs were going away, um, it doesn't mean there's no other jobs. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted by a text here. Hi from Poland. My favorite uncle. Keep my anxiety in check. Yeah, no worries about it. Trust me. I'll tell you. I don't have what I would tell you if I thought coding, software development was over. It's just mutating as it always has, right? Best freelance platform, I don't know. The best freelance platform is word of mouth. Once you get some reputation, once people start getting to know you, then next thing you know, you'll be doing pretty good. So I would just start doing some searching, looking around. Depends on what part of the world you're in. Yeah. Appreciate the thumbs, guys. How are 85 people? Small group. I'm a Java developer with 3-year experience, but had 4-year gap in between with 1.5 years of freelancing. Now, due to a lot of advancement, I'm not sure what to learn, Java use it or add front end as well. So what I would do, look at the market, like study the job market, spend a few days, a week, use AI, start scanning job opportunities, scanning the job markets, go to wherever developers hang out, see what they have to say. And then make your choice based on that. Now, while we working with AI, most using agents, we software must still review code. Yeah. You think time will come when we don't really need to review code? That will be so precise. I would guess eventually code review will not be so required. If you learn how to use AI properly, you need less code review, but you still have to do it. Actually, I was just working with AI today to fix something in one of my views in my Laravel app, and it was, not great. It helped, but it wasn't great. I still needed to know what I was doing. Like a junior would have had trouble with it. But because I'm an ancient hairless nerd, I was able to use it, and it was a useful tool. But it still wasn't great. Other times it's fantastic, I personally found, in my experience, is that AI takes care of the boring stuff in development. That's my experience anyway. So I think long term, developers are going to be kind of like system architects, judgment, decision makers, people who have agents, highly trained and refined workflows. I'm learning backend Python, Django, Fast API, Postgres, and then moving forward into AI engineering. What do you suggest is a good path in this AI era? I just said it, jump into AI. AI is complex and it's ever changing. So that's why I think there's a huge opportunity there. I would learn the basics of the full stack. Don't go too crazy. Just understand. But working with Postgres, learn how to set it up, learn to set up some databases, normalize a little bit the databases. But that's it. But jump in AI, heavy duty AI. So once you have your fundamentals of code, you should be shifting to AI systems and AI workflows. That's if you want the jobs, and they're going to be paid very nicely. Like I said, I'm talking to people. They would pay. They're looking for people who understand the AI ecosystem. Hey, hello, Stef. What do you think about PHP stack versus JavaScript full stack on a neutral side? I prefer PHP. I just don't like NPM. I found PHP to be overall for my needs better. It's actually easier to set up too for a lot of people. That's just a personal choice. They're all good these days. I would, for small, medium-sized projects, I'd stay away from Java, stay away from .NET. Not that the C# and Java are bad languages. I just find they're heavy. but they're widely used in the enterprise, meaning big legacy stuff. If I'm developing something new, I'd be PHP, JavaScript, Python third. So he says, should newbies who are taking career in tech in 26 and beyond learn the former or the latter? It depends what you're looking to do, right? Look at the market. Do a little market study. Like you got to be a little proactive in terms of studying the market now and seeing where the demand is, because you find that different parts of the world, there's a different demand mix, you know? There's no point in specializing in one language anymore. Yeah, there was never a point, to be honest with you. You know, I've been talking about this. I've been teaching this for years and years and decades, in fact. Once you learn one programming language, the rest become pretty self-evident. Yeah. Meaning once you learn, let's say JavaScript, for you to learn Python, you'll learn in a few days, you know. How much CSS should I know for freelancing? Enough so that you can build a responsive website. Once you can build a responsive website, the rest you learn as you need. Yeah. JSAP, I know what that is. Maybe SVG, not needed, waste of time. Again, those are, I don't know what JSAP is, but SVG, I know what that is. Scalar Vector Graphics, I think it is. It's, anyway, yeah, these are neat to nerd tech. It's like for every SVG project, there's probably 10,000 PHP projects, you know? Doing DSA on lead code and making full stack projects used to be the primary focus of computer science freshers to land their first job. Would you recommend it given the AI boom? No. Don't waste your time with that. Go into AI. DSA is actually, I thought that since the inception, the DSA was way overemphasized because for 90% of jobs, DSA is not important. For 90% of jobs, if you're developing big systems where you really have to optimize the data structures and the algorithms, yes, but for most web apps, no. In terms of optimizations, the only thing that really counts on the web anyway is the database for the most part. No, forget DSA and lead code. You want to go into AI big time. That's where, if you want a job. Hey, Uncle, is Django plus React Stack still worth it? I would say forget about learning React. Maybe learn the basics of Django just to understand what MVC is. So it's about principle, but just learn the basics. I would be, again, once you know your fundamentals, I would be focusing on the AI stacks. Think of AI as the new React, the new Django, the new Laravel, the new Vue on steroids times 1,000. If you want to make money. Again, it's just a new form of development. I from Bosnia and I cannot pronounce it, Herzegovina. Sorry, I want my brain can't pronounce it today, but I know where you are. Is Shopify dev viable? I consider Shopify one of those low code, no code tools that just understand what it can do, understand when it makes sense to use it, but don't spend too much time on it. Spend maybe a day understanding the basics. It's one of those need to nerd technologies. And would you also learn some marketing stuff on top of coding if you want to get into that? If like as in my earlier example, if you were a dev who implemented marketing systems for companies, which I think there's going to be a huge market for that, and you came to it with AI agents that assisted you in that, you would be super valuable. I hope that helps. What do you think is right, Iran or the United States? Oh, I don't get into politics here. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge. I'll just say this. In speaking to Iranians I know up here in Canada, they're all ecstatic. Every one, I've only spoken to 3, but all 3 of them, it's not much of a sample size, they're super happy about it. So I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I don't know enough about that part of the world. Yep, I am a SR dev in little less than 4 years working on my first SaaS. Very cool. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we'll talk about how that's going. Will demand for software engineering increase? I think it will, but it's not going to be the old stuff. It's going to be the AI hybrid developers and AI specialized developers. That's going to, remember, people conflate, they assume that coding is development. It is not. Code is a tool of development. Any experienced developers will understand that completely. So just because coding is shrinking, as it always has been in my career, long before AI, it's always been shrinking. It doesn't take away from development. So, yeah. So I think it's going to increase in the new stuff. The basics are needed, links, href. Yeah, you have to know those basics. There's still some work in older languages. If you can work with AI, it would make your life easier. Exactly. Any tips on being able to quit a 9-to-5 job and become financially free, hopefully with code? Thanks for all your videos. That's a big subject. Yeah, I haven't had a job working for somebody since I was 18 years old when I was a bouncer. So I've done it. The key is you got to be proactive. You got to have discipline to be able to work, without somebody telling you what to do. You have to also have good money management discipline. So the key, first thing you got to do if you want to be quit the 9-to-5, first you have to build, as a freelancer, about a year's worth of FU money, emergency money. So you don't have to worry about a gig for about a year. So you got to build that year of cash, and then you got to start building your reputation out there, and you want to eventually get like a pool of clients that you can rely on. I've talked about at length in other videos. You can go look at my other videos. Thanks for your reply, Uncle Stef. We love your work. I appreciate it. Thanks. See, I'm not here, like, when I tell you, you got to step away, pull back from React, pull back from code and go here. I'm not attacking code. I've done it for decades. And I'm just here. My main goal has been always to guide you in terms of career. I'm not, even though I've been saying a pumper of PHP because I just think it's super productive. Still is. But now I'm pumping AI because that's where the money is. That's where the opportunity is. So I don't attack. I'm just trying to guide you based on the best of my knowledge. So I have like a friend of mine who's got the travel tourism business. There's something cool. So he's built his AI. He gets clients come in. And he knows a little bit of code. But he's not a coder. So he's an owner of the business. So he has clients come to his site. They request a quote for a particular package. Its AI reads that, checks what they have in their roster, and then it generates a live portal website and then sends out an email to the client so they can go check it out and see what the quote is and so forth. Now, it's taken him a long time. It's not working perfectly yet. But he was the guy who was telling me, I was just talking to him earlier today, say, if I could find somebody who knew AI well, I would hire him in a second so he could implement all these things. He's got tons of things to do. So yeah, he's not hiring somebody anymore to design a web page, but he's hiring people and he's willing to pay top dollar who can do all these AI things and automations and so forth. I got a super chat. I'll answer that question. Thanks for the super chat. What is the best way to learn AI? I would start with looking at what they're called the frontier models. So I would go to ChatGPT and ask it, what can you do for me? Ask it very specifically. One thing with the AI is you got to be very specific with them. So what can you tell me about, as a developer, what advantage you provide for me very tersely? This is, you're talking to ChatGPT, that you can do for me. What are your advantages? How you're different? Give me a summary of what you could do versus Gemini versus Anthropic Claude, and see what they say, and do with Gemini. You start comparing. So first thing you want to learn about these foundational models or the frontier models. That's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Grok. And find out, and you're going to see each of them have their things. And then there's all these tool sets. Claude has all these cool tools in there that do all kinds of cool things. So that's what I would do. So that's the first thing I would do. If you're in the I don't know if you're in my mentoring program or not, but if you're there, I did put a module on there. It's a like 11 video course giving you an overview of AI and how to look at it, how to approach it and stuff. But in a nutshell, I just gave you what the deal is. Hold on. What should I learn for a new grad? I told you, become AI aware. Assume you know the fundamentals of code, though, because the AI is going to make all kinds of mistakes with coding, and you need to know what you're doing. You need to know architecture. So you need your foundations. You got your foundations, you're ready to go. How much security do I need to know to start building websites? Not much. Most of the security and web apps are locked down on the server side, so the hosting companies will take care of that. Like one thing to understand as a developer is the different types of hosting, right? Do you go with cloud? Do you go dedicated? Do you shared hosting? Depends on the project. So just knowing that is like one of your values, right? So much security. So you just need to know the basic, SQL injection, but ask the AI. I always end up rewriting code from tutorials rather than writing myself. Yeah, you got to get away from tutorial hell. You got to get into real world development. That's the key. So find a project, build it from scratch. Don't worry if you don't know everything. When I built my first web app for a client, believe it or not, I had never used a relational database before. I had built web apps, Pro CGI stuff, but I was doing it to simple text files. I was storing my data in CSV files rather. So I get this project as client, and I never used a relational database before. So what did I do? I just went out and I bought a book. At that was pre, YouTube and stuff. So I went out and I bought a book. This is adjusting my lighting here, guys. Hold on. So I bought a book and learned a relational database and got paid to learn. That's how that goes. Hope that's useful. So yeah, get away from tutorials, start building things. If you know your foundation, so in the web, if you can build a responsive website and you can do basic CRUD, you're ready to go. I'm learning backend in Python, Django, FastAPI, Postgres. I'm moving for, I think I answered you, yeah. What are your suggestions on UI, UX field? It's very specialized. Again, I would be looking at AI tools and other low-code, no-code tools in terms of UI, UX. Understand your basic principles of UI and UX. Understand, colors, how they impact psychology, information flow, alignment, white space. These are principles that you should know, right? So again, in the modern era of development, it's less about code and mechanics. AI will do that. What you have to bring to the table as a pro developer is judgment and understanding of principles and systems. If you focus on that, then you're going to be doing fantastic. Lots of opportunity, but you just got to reconfigure your focus. One of the things I got to put out on the mentor program, I got to put a course on system level thinking. That's so important today, system level thinking. In coding, you still have to guide AI 100%. That's why, don't worry, guys. If you learn to code, you learn to code. It's not a waste of time. It's very, very good. Stef, do you have an option for your website do one-on-one booking? Yeah, you can do that now. You can go to where I think it's under the this video. You can actually book me for a consult if you want. I just got my AZ900. I'm really interested in the cloud space. Cool. Okay, we answered that. I'm a dev dealing with client scope creep. There you go. Yeah, that's very important. That's part of the skill, by the way. That's one of these skills in software development people don't talk about enough. Being able to deal with project scope creep or client scope creep. That's a skill. Because a big part of being successful as a developer is making sure the client is happy with what you got. And that has a lot to do with controlling expectations and scope. I know it doesn't sound intuitive as a nerd, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. I need consultant how to stand my ground. Yeah. The key is clear communication with clients, written. So you have a track record. So it's important when you're dealing with clients and bosses and coworkers that it's clearly stated and written in an email what you're going to deliver at what time. Project creep, scope creep, as it's talking about, is so common. At our company, architecture, systems design, data engineering, and security became more of the focus. We didn't have people getting fired. We instead build way more products now. Exactly. Thanks for that comment. Comment of the day. So he's talking about AI. So they brought in AI. So it just changed the focus, as I've been talking about, as I've been suggesting. At our company, architecture, systems design, data engineering, security became more of the focus, 100%. And as he said, we instead of getting rid of people, we're building way more products now. Software developer jobs are not going away. Just learn the new stuff and you'll be doing fantastic. I'm a dev and I'm dealing with client scope creep and I need a way to stand my ground. Yeah, we got that. There was a feature request that wasn't high priority, so I prompted AI with that I needed and how I needed a viable product. I could test quick, then I refined my prompt and cleaned it up. So he had to know what he was doing. Matthew, he's talking about some lingering project that somebody wanted to have done in the company he works for. So he had some time, so AI allowed him to do it. A lot of companies, there's so many things that have to be done. Are all AI programs paid? No. Do you have to pay to use any AI? No. Even just for practice? No. Some IDs are paid, others free. You can do a lot with free ones, but I don't know if it's the same with AI. Yeah, all of them have free access level, right? It's just a question of how many times you can prompt them in a day, how many times you can work with them a day. But they're not super expensive. So start with the free stuff. Go to Gemini, try it out. Go to ChatGPT, try it out. Go to Grok, try it out. But if you start using them a lot, you're gonna have to pay. But you can get I just used a $20 a month program. It's simple. Hi, Uncle Stef. Hope you're doing well. I'm working for building AI agents like chat plus voice bots, also in CRM management, marketing automation. Well, worried? No, I wouldn't. Don't be worried about the future. Plenty of opportunity. Trust me. I've seen these worry cycles before. I'll give you a classic example. When content management systems hit the scene, WordPress and so forth, a lot of content-rich site developers, if you will, they were worried because, oh my God, we're going to lose all our jobs because they used to build their HTML pages by hand, or they would use like PHP with server includes. And then WordPress made all that stuff, not needed anymore. But it just created huge opportunities. It just exploded the industry. So I remember friends of mine. That was their job. Their job was to update magazine sites with raw HTML or PHP backed HTML or something, and then all of a sudden, boom! So no, don't worry about the future. Lots of opportunity. 40-year career changer. I've completed the foundations on your website. Currently building my website along with few VAS. How do you figure out what to target for jobs? Very good question. Part of it depends on A, what you like to do, B, where you happen to live in the world, where the demand is. The market is vast. There's so much opportunity if you just get into the new stuff. If you stop having kittens over, React or Vue or Django jobs, and you just think about where the jobs are now, you're going to see these massive opportunities. So what I would do is I would start poking around, see what people are interested in, talk to them. Again, use the AI to open doors for you. That's how you open doors as a junior. Is just leverage the AI stuff, man, and then see what happens. Is it okay to use LAMP stack in 2026 to build MVPs? Sure, why not? The stacks are becoming less and less relevant. The languages are less and less relevant nowadays. I was talking to a guy, a friend of mine, used to work for me, and he did a lot of research for Facebook and AI, and he has a startup now, AI startup. And the languages are becoming less and less relevant because with AI, you can point an AI at, let's say, Python, and then say, create the equivalent in C++. Boop, boop. It's not perfect, but it's coming, right? Again, it's not about the mechanics that matter. So a LAMP stack, that's fine. LAMP is fine, you know. AI style a couple of years behind newer concepts in tech. I talked to AI like a junior dev. MPA is too bloated nowadays. Yeah, agreed. Your advice to CS freshers. Start working with AI daily. Hey, we got ourselves the next comment. I would stick to one or two main languages. I would agree with that. You don't need to know all, but one that's very common. I agree. I agree. I agree 100%. That's why in my mentoring, I teach JavaScript, PHP, and Python. So you're pretty much covered with all that. Is there no translator for YouTube Live? I don't know. See, there's an example. YouTube, they should have a translator for life. It's coming, I'm sure. I find that the magic number is 3. Once you've gotten into 3 RDBMSs, you see the difference between databases and specific platform. Same for programming languages. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's not a coincidence that our brains are very good with 3. That's why there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or whatever, the Mother, Son, and Holy. 3 is like one of these numbers that our brains seem to be well mapped against. Jay's app is Green Sock JS animation. Okay, there you go. Yeah, very, very niche stuff. Animations, SVG is fun, but jobs, I put those in the need to nerd category. Fun, useful, but how many people need that? When you say learn AI stack, what exactly are you referring to? Well, start with the frontier model. Start learning what ChatGPT can do for you. Look at Claude and there's tool sets. Start looking at agents. An advertiser, an AI company that I'm going to put out an ad video for them soon. Replit. They got all these highly refined AIs. So, yeah, that's what I'm referring to. So start with the big models like that. Like I said, ChatGPTs and so on. Take it from there. Email development, highly specialized, need to nerd. Is system programming a good career, C or Russ? If combined with AI, I'm sure. What is your honest opinion of become a developer with 50 years old in a sense of real opportunities? I think that depends what your background is. So if you're like, I don't know, an accountant getting into it, then I would combine AI development and bringing forth accounting-based tools or expertise. Maybe you're a marketer and you want to get out of marketing, you want to get into development. I would combine marketing with AI and traditional development. I hope that makes sense. AI is a big game changer because there's such an opportunity there, because there's such a demand. And maybe you can come in as a consultant, a freelancer. My experience has been AI does a great job at recreating stuff that already exists, true, but fails miserably at creating new software tech that has never been written before. Very true, potentially. How about Flutter of Go dev? Is it learn worth? Again, the language is, again, whether you learn this language, this framework, it depends on the jobs. The key is fundamentals, AI, low code, no code, and then you decide if you're going to learn Go dev or Flutter if a job comes up. Plumbing will be around, so I got that. Definitely an old school watcher. Thanks for joining the stream. How about learn Go 2026? I answered, do you think you can learn just by YouTube, or do I need to be an engineer? You can learn from YouTube. You can learn from AI plus YouTube. The key is to the key with learning this stuff is just to get your foundations and start building real things as quickly as possible. That's the key. No worries. Hey, thanks, man. What about Next.js? Again, need to nerd. People really like it. Learn what it can do, understand, and then use it if it need be. I'm going to have to put out a video on the need to nerd techs versus the must learn tech. So must learn foundations, AI stuff, different models, what agentic is, etc. Need to nerd, Next, React, Laravel, Django. Hey, Stef, do you get, just to get my foot in the door in 26, 27 with an entry-level position, what do I need to know in terms of language, including AI? Again, foundations and then understand AI. So you can come in and be a developer who knows how to work with AI. That's going to make you super valuable. Excuse me. Does learning AI mean learning how to build ML models? No, it means learning how to work with the models. Or does it mean learning how to effectively use AI tools like Cursor, GPT? There you go. That's it. Just being able to use the models. Now, what they're going to do in interviews, I don't know. It depends on the company, right? This is also new. If you know these models well and you understand them, you'll have no problems getting jobs. I'm fairly confident of that. So tell something about Fast API. Oh, learn it if you need it. That's what it is. I'm restating over and over again what my thinking here. I have never had so many inbound clients as I've had in the last year, just being able to help them leverage AI to build faster, whether it's POCs or helping them move legacy projects. I love AI. There you go, Flight Deck Dad, proving my point. All the people crying is that there are people, it's like the people looking at old tech. Look at the new guys, lots of opportunity. That's why in my own mentoring program, shameless plug, UncleStef.com, keeping my foundations of code is important, and how to freelance and how to manage your money and so forth. But I've added modules on AI. I'm adding more and more modules. That's where the jobs are. So again, let me emphasize that. I'm going to put this really big so I get the message here. Yeah, my computer's running slow for some reason. Here we go. I have never had so many inbound clients as I had in the last year, just by being able to help them leverage AI to build faster. Right? There you go. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it myself. It's just like, it's unbelievable, the opportunity. I believe this is the best opportunity in decades to be a software developer. 100%. I am so optimistic about this time. We're in a transitional period. People are having problems now is because they're looking at old stuff. Just like when I got into the web in 1994, and it was brand new. Bill Gates was saying the web is a fad. I said, no, that's the future. I didn't go after what was current. Current at that time was like VB6, CD-ROM programming, and C++, SICK client apps for Windows mostly. There's some Mac OS and some Linux, but I went web. And I had the world was my oyster. Projects were just coming at me left and right. AI is now that. AI is the new development. Like this guy just said, Flight Deck Dad. Flight Deck Dad has got all these projects coming in because he's doing the new stuff. Stop with the old. I found myself, I don't code anymore. I only use AI agents to write my code, but I carefully plan and review the code. I think this is okay, or should I maintain skill rate? No. See, that's a good question. So he's wondering if he starts using AI agents to write out a code and just manage them, he's going to slowly lose his ability to code. He'll forget things. And actually, Anthropic, who makes Claude, they just released a study they found that developers who are doing that, their score on tests was 17% lower than people who were still actively coding. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even forget about AI. Even within the software development itself, when I would move from language A to B or stack A to B, and even though I was an expert, but for example, when I moved from Java and I did many months of C#.NET, I'd go back to Java and I'd forget things. I'd be like, oh, how do we do this in Java now? And I would confuse it with the way we did in .NET. Did that make me a bad coder? No. It's just good. That's why you have IDEs, right? That's why you have Google now. That's why you have GPT or AI. It doesn't matter. Concepts, principles, system level thinking, that is the key. So it doesn't matter if you forget, because it's normal to forget. All that matters is you understand the concepts and the principles. Once you have that, the details are not important, because the details can be retrieved in a moment with AI, right? So no, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Use open code in your CLI. They have free models. Oh, there you go. Hello from Argentina. Buenos Aires. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. All right, how are we doing here? Oof, almost an hour. I'll be wrapping this up after an hour. Let me know if you like live streams. Give me some thumbs and comment after this video. I'll leave it up live. And as long as I'm feeling good, I'll do more. Companies don't want randomness. For true business management applications, you always need a software engineer to add the right amount of intelligence. No magic. Yeah, you still need judgment. The key today is judgment. In the AI development this time, you need judgment, architectural skills, good communication skills. That's the key. If you run closed captions on your computer, it will probably make subtitles live. Don't use YouTube for live captions. Turn live captions on your phone settings or your computer settings. I have to look into that, man. Thanks for the tip. How would an employer differentiate between someone who just knows how to prompt AI to write code versus someone who can actually build systems? Well, they're going to see what you've done. That's why I always tell people, once you learn your foundations, start building things. Start with simple projects, then move up from there. So the employer is going to be able to judge you based on what you can show portfolio. That's all. What is hot in Montreal area? What is hot in the Montreal area currently? I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay too close of attention to the local development market, but I can tell you what's hot universally around the world: AI development. It does seem like AI writes 90% of the code, where we just end up needing to review and guide on patterns. Yeah. But again, coding has always been an aspect, a part of development, not the whole thing. I turn live captions on my cell phone, and the live captions are working through the cell phone settings that can be found in Vibes. Okay, on your machine. Okay, so if you want captions, just use your cell phone. There you go. Good tip. Thanks, Nick. AI vibe code is already used by the clients. It's a lot of hype. They end up with buggy, simple prototypes. Yep. Websites and after search developers, serious companies don't include AI in developing. It has to be done properly. I was just thinking about that in terms of, so let's say I haven't experimented with this. Let's say I had an AI and I wanted to have it start writing code for a particular app of some note. What I would do is I would set up some sort of, I guess you call it a manifest, some sort of guidelines about how to write their code. So I would say, no inheritance. We're going to use this language for this project. We're going to use composition as a design pattern. We're going to use dependency injection, or as they like to call it in the Java world, the filter system. Yeah, just by telling it to do that, you're going to reduce a lot of spaghetti code potential there. So that's one thing you could do. And that's like the new version of where you set up protocols for the AI in terms of how to write the code. Because if they're writing code without inheritance, using composition, using dependency injection as a design pattern, using MVC when it makes sense. You tell it what language to use depending on the project. Then you're going to have a much better, a much cleaner code base. Now, here's the thing. You have to know this stuff to be able to, tell the AI what to do, right? I know these things. And it's not universal, right? It depends on what you're doing. So anyway. Can I be hired as a junior dev with 40 years? Potentially. But again, I've talked about that. If you look early on in the stream, I gave the mindset. Here's another super chat. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. All right, we'll be closing on how we're doing at the stream. 100 people, not bad. If you can give me some, we have 45 likes and 100 viewers. Can help me out there. Concepts and principles one needs to know how to build. The tools that one uses to build are secondary. It's like a farmer who doesn't want to use a tractor but still only wants to plow with an ox. Yeah, exactly. A farmer still has to understand how to work the field, what seeds to plant, how to prep the earth, I suppose. Whether they're using a tractor or an ox to plow, they still got to know what they're doing, right? What do you think the future is like for mobile app developers? Will they replace? No. Again, it's just going to be mobile app developers using AI tools to speed up the production. So instead of spending 6 months on a mobile app, you get it done in 3 weeks, and you move on to the next thing, and you iterate much faster. That's all. I, sir, am a 12th finished student. I am a 12th finished student. How do I know what skills in back-end development to get employment as soon as? Any suggestions? Study your local job market. See what they're looking for. That said, jump into the AI. That's the hack. The hack for juniors is to become an AI/developer, hybrid developer. They'll hire you much more quickly than if you don't know AI. Independent study found that professional girls using AI were 19% slower. Could be. Depends how you use it. You have to use it properly, Is it possible to get hired as a developer without a university degree right now? 100%. 100%. I think that degrees are going to become less and less and less and less important as time goes by. Matthew, who is a senior developer, he just commented earlier, he doesn't have a degree. And he's a senior dev. So it's all about skills. Hey, Bitcoin JC, man. Long time no see. Is it possible to get hired? I did that one. I've been worried if I should use Cursor to build a SaaS. Would this be a good idea for a junior full stack? Why not? Why not? I made a silly mistake. I made a silly mistake back in the early days of my software career. So what was my mistake? And it relates back to what we're talking about here. My mistake was I refused to use an IDE, even a code editor. In my first 2 years writing Java code, I was a purist, and I just used Notepad to write my Java code, and then I would compile the code with Javac via command line. And I did this for 2 years because I felt that if I was going to use the IDE, it was going to write code for me. I was going to forget, blah, blah. So eventually I acquiesced and I decided to use an IDE. And not only did I start developing much more quickly, I learned a lot more because the IDE would give me hints. So yeah, I hope that helps. Don't make that mistake. People who ignore AI now because they feel threatened, they're making a mistake. It's a great opportunity. Is web dev the best time to learn? Right? Web dev is great. Web dev gives you the widest range of opportunities because deploying to the web is that's the platform of deployment. So understanding the web dev and the full stack, what websites are and request response model, these are things you have to understand even with AI. That's so funny. Concepts and principles. One of the most popular selling points for a job applicant is adaptability. If one isn't well versed in AI in 2026, evidently they aren't adaptable. Yeah, you got to be adaptable. All right, what do we do? Oh, over an hour. Woof. Questions coming in. I'll answer a couple more questions. I'm going to head off. My coffee is cold. Hey, Stef, I have to say C# is heavily utilized in Central and Eastern Europe for small and medium-sized businesses, while the rest of the world uses it for enterprise. It's a phenomenon in the CEE region. So there you go. It's very regional, as I say. Language use and technology use is very regional. That's interesting. Again, same rules. Start looking at AI and how AI will augment your C# implementations, and that's how you're going to advance at the game. I'm mid-level. I'm starting a new role in Java at a banking company. Hey, congratulations. Good stuff. You know what you got to do. Not many people even know how to use AI effectively, nor understand LLMs, agent skills, etc. That is why AI is the hack now. You hit the nail on the head, man. Phil Bushman, 9744, hit the nail on the head. Hey, how you doing, man? Hope everything is good. What is your opinion in learning Java? I'm trying to transition in my bank. Should I continue or go Python? See what the demand is at your bank. See what the demand is. If you haven't written code before, I would do Python first, simply because it's more approachable. It's easier, you know? And once you understand Python, then you could pivot to Java pretty quickly. What is your opinion? I did that one already. Most of the people said that the limitation with AI is that refactoring and writing code, scalable code. How to master refactoring and writing scalable code as self-taught. I would buy the seminal book on refactoring. I have a link to it below. And I would, scale is overemphasized. In web apps, most of the scale is in the database, really. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. So understanding how to write, how to design good database tables. If you work with the AI properly, you'll be able to write maintainable code if you use it properly. You got to learn to use it properly. You give me hope in the opportunity in front of all. It's a huge opportunity. I wouldn't bullshit you. If I thought the opportunity sucked, I'd let you know. I think it's a huge opportunity. It's like it's just exploding if you go into the area I'm talking about. So all the doomers out there, don't listen to them. I've been at this game for so long. I used to have long hair when I started. So this is how long I've been coding. So it's it's a huge opportunity. I Googled codes, not use Microsoft moved early into CEE, rooted in even small to mid business, just naturally moved from the original Microsoft infrastructure into .NET while Java focused on the US market. There you go. All right, guys, I hope you like the stream. I love doing these streams. I don't know why I stopped. I'll try to do them more often. I hope you liked the stream. If you did, give me a thumbs up. It's fun answering questions. Anyway, that's it. If you don't know me, I'm Uncle Stef. That's what people started calling me, Uncle Stef. So people started to call me Grandpa Stef, which is not good. But anyway, I hope you found this useful. Thanks for joining. And we'll see you in the next one. Comment below, like, share, all that stuff. Since he's Bitcoin JC, since he's an OG viewer, I'll answer his question. I'm still amazed daily at how Copilot suggests and auto-completes my code, even long pieces as I type it in Visual Studio IDE. It just knows what I want to do. That's it. That's good. All right, guys. Cheers in honor of Ozzy. Poor Ozzy. Double Guns. Thanks for joining the stream. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. Don't worry about the jobs. Just If you follow what I'm suggesting, I'm not exaggerating. I think it's the greatest opportunity since the inception of the web to got into software development if you do the new stuff. And I'm telling you, the new stuff is so much more fun. It's so much more fun. That's it. Yeah, there you go. Cheers. You know what? I'll lead off with my. Do I still have it? Oh yeah, my old. I'm gonna end with my ASMR Cape Elizabeth, Maine ocean view video that I filmed a few years ago. I'll end off with that. See you guys.